Okay.
We're probably good without it.
Okay. I know at first they said it was kind of important, and then I forgot several weeks in a row, so forgot to bring them.
You might have a few more of those in the new member group.
And maybe if you turn them on, they probably pick up automatically since they've been heard once before. So.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome, those of you joining online. This is the End Time Prophecy Study. This is part 6 or section 6 in my notebook of notes. And tonight's discussion is on the book of Daniel. So we'll jump right in and get started. This is probably one of the more very direct reference books having to do with end time prophecy of all that we'll study. It just is laid out so clear. And uh, I really like this book. I like the information that's presented. I like math. Um, I like math because it's straightforward and it makes sense and it's logical and predictable. And there is some great math related to end time prophecy in this book. And that's one of the reasons I probably enjoy it so much. But let's dive right in. So Daniel mentions the time of the end 5 times in 3 different passages. In chapter 8, verses 17, in chapter 11, verses 35 through 40, and in chapter 12, verses 4 and 9. He was told to seal the book until the time of the end when knowledge would be increased. The book was completed about 600 years before Christ and about 700 years before John's revelation. There are many similarities and parallels between Daniel and Revelation, and we'll look at a few of those. If you want to get your Bibles out, which I failed to do, I guess we should always need our Bibles if we're going to do a Bible study, right?
That's right.
So if you'll turn to Daniel and initially turn to chapter 2. And in the 42nd verse and the 44th verse, Daniel has a dream, and some interesting things are revealed to him in that passage and in that dream. And he dreams of a statue, and let me see if I can just read that real quick to give us a backdrop. That's 42, right? Okay. So, and the, okay. And this is actually what I'm referring to as getting um, into the explanation of the dream. And it says, whereas you saw the feet and toes, um, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, yet the strength of the iron shall be in it. Just as you saw the iron mixed with ceramic clay, and as the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly fragile. As you saw iron mixed with ceramic clay, they will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not adhere to one another, just as iron does not mix with clay. And in the days of the kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. It shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. That's sort of the last part, but in the dream, he sees a dream of a statue, and the statue represents 4 or 5 different empires that would rule over Israel in the last, it really in biblical history. The head of the statue was of gold, and that is representing Babylon. The chest and arms were made of silver, and that represents the Medes and Persians under Cyrus. The thighs of brass represent Greece under Antiochus Epiphanes,